new ballast may hum while the old ones don't for several possible reasons. Firstly, the new ballast might have a slightly different design or construction than the old ones. This difference in design can result in a different level of humming. Secondly, resonance can play a role. The frequency of the humming may resonate with the structure of the building or the fixtures where the ballasts are installed. This resonance can amplify the humming sound, making it more noticeable. Thirdly, incorrect wiring, even if the ground has been checked, can contribute to the humming. It's worth double-checking all connections to ensure there are no loose or faulty wires that could be causing the humming. Fourthly, component tolerance can be a factor. Electrical components, such as capacitors and inductors, can have slight variations in their values. These variations can affect the operation of the ballast and potentially lead to humming. Humming from a ballast is not necessarily a sign of a problem, provided the ballast is functioning properly and the lights are operating normally. However, excessive humming or humming accompanied by other issues may indicate an underlying problem. Overheating can be a symptom of excessive humming, which could shorten the ballast's lifespan or even pose a fire hazard. A loose connection can cause arcing, which can lead to humming. A failed component within the ballast, such as a capacitor or inductor, can also cause humming and affect the ballast performance. Here are some recommended actions. Firstly, monitor the ballast operation over the next few days to see if the humming persists or changes. Secondly, check the temperature of the ballast during operation to ensure it's not overheating, if possible. If the humming is excessive or accompanied by other issues, contact the ballast manufacturer for technical support and guidance. Remember that different ballast designs can produce varying levels of noise. Some ballasts are inherently quieter than others. The materials used in the ballast construction, such as the core lamination or the potting compound, can affect its noise level. The way the ballast is mounted can also influence how much noise it transmits. If the ballast is rigidly mounted to a surface, it may vibrate and amplify the humming sound. The age of the ballast can also be a factor. As ballasts age, their components can degrade, leading to increased noise levels. Consider the type of lamp the ballast is powering. Different types of lamps require different types of ballasts, and using the wrong ballast can cause it to hum or even fail. The input voltage supplied to the ballast should also be checked. If the voltage is too high or too low, it can cause the ballast to malfunction and produce excessive noise. Another factor to consider is harmonic distortion. Harmonic distortion in the electrical system can cause ballast to overheat and hum. If the building has a lot of electronic equipment, it may be necessary to install harmonic filters to reduce the level of distortion. Also consider electromagnetic interference. Electromagnetic interference can also cause ballast to hum. If there are other electrical devices nearby, they may be interfering with the ballast's operation. Some ballasts are designed to be more resistant to electromagnetic interference than others. The ambient temperature around the ballast can also affect its noise level. Ballasts tend to run hotter in warmer environments, which can cause them to hum more. Ventilation can help keep ballast cool and reduce noise levels. Also check the ballast specifications to ensure it is compatible with the existing wiring and fixtures. Using the wrong type of ballast can cause it to malfunction and produce excessive noise. If you're not sure which type of ballast to use, consult with a qualified electrician. In some cases, the humming may not be coming from the ballast itself, but from the lamp. Lamps can sometimes produce a buzzing or humming sound, especially as they age. If you suspect the lamp is the source of the noise, try replacing it with a new one. Another thing to consider is the type of dimmer switch being used, if any. Some dimmer switches are not compatible with certain types of ballast, and this can cause them to hum. If you're using a dimmer switch, make sure it is compatible with the ballast. Also consider the quality of the electrical wiring. Poor quality wiring can cause voltage fluctuations, which can lead to ballast humming. If you suspect the wiring is the problem, have it inspected by a qualified electrician. Furthermore, check for loose connections in the electrical panel. Loose connections can cause arcing, which can produce a humming sound. If you find any loose connections, tighten them carefully. Sometimes the humming is caused by a faulty capacitor. Capacitors are used in ballast to help start the lamp and regulate the current. If a capacitor is failing, it can cause the ballast to hum or even fail completely. If you suspect the capacitor is the problem, have it replaced by a qualified electrician. Additionally, check the ballast grounding. A properly grounded ballast is less likely to hum. Make sure the ballast is properly grounded to the building's electrical system. Another possibility is that the ballast is simply defective. Even new ballasts can sometimes be defective. If you've tried everything else and the ballast is still humming, it may be necessary to replace it. Consider the ballast warranty. Many ballasts come with a warranty that covers defects in materials and workmanship. If the ballast is still under warranty, you may be able to get a replacement for free. Also consider the ballast's energy efficiency. Some ballasts are more energy efficient than others. If you're looking to save money on your energy bill, consider replacing your old ballasts with energy efficient ones. Consider the ballast safety features as well. Some ballasts have built-in safety features, such as thermal protection, that can help prevent fires. When choosing a ballast, make sure it has the safety features you need. Another thing to consider is the ballast size. Ballasts come in different sizes, so make sure you choose one that will fit in a fixture. If the ballast is too big, it may be difficult to install. The location of the ballast can also affect its noise level. Ballasts that are installed in enclosed spaces tend to be noisier than those that are installed in open spaces. If possible, try to install the ballast in a well-ventilated area. Another factor to consider is the age of the building. Older buildings often have electrical systems that are not up to modern standards, and this can cause ballast to hum. If you live in an older building, it may be necessary to upgrade the electrical system to reduce the level of noise. Finally, consider the advice of a qualified electrician. If you're not sure why your ballast is humming, it's always best to consult with a qualified electrician. They can help you diagnose the problem and recommend the best course of action. If the humming is persistent, it may also be related to the building's electrical infrastructure. Issues such as voltage fluctuations, ground loops, or harmonic distortion can exacerbate ballast noise. These problems are often more complex and require a professional electrician to diagnose and resolve. A ground loop occurs when there are multiple paths to ground, creating a potential difference that can cause current to flow through the grounding system, leading to noise. Harmonic distortion refers to the presence of unwanted frequencies in the electrical system, which can cause equipment to overheat and malfunction. Voltage fluctuations can stress the ballast components, leading to increased noise and potential failure. If you've ruled out the most common causes of ballast humming, it's worth investigating these more complex issues. An electrician can use specialized equipment to test the electrical system and identify any underlying problems. Solutions may include upgrading the grounding system, installing harmonic filters, or improving voltage regulation. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, so it's always best to leave it to a qualified professional. They have the training and experience to safely diagnose and repair electrical problems. If you are experiencing persistent ballast humming, don't hesitate to seek professional help. A qualified electrician can help you identify the cause of the noise and recommend the best course of action. In addition to the factors mentioned above, the type of lighting system can also influence the likelihood of ballast humming. For example, fluorescent lighting systems are more prone to humming than LED lighting systems. This is because fluorescent ballasts operate at a higher frequency and use more complex circuitry. LED lighting systems, on the other hand, typically use electronic drivers that are less prone to noise. If you are looking to reduce ballast humming, consider switching to an LED lighting system. LED lights are also more energy efficient and have a longer lifespan than fluorescent lights. Another factor to consider is the quality of the ballast. Not all ballasts are created equal. Some ballasts are made with higher quality components and are designed to be quieter than others. When choosing a ballast, look for one that is specifically designed for quiet operation. These ballasts often have features such as noise dampening materials and optimized circuitry. In addition to the type of ballast, the way it is installed can also affect its noise level. If the ballast is installed in a way that allows it to vibrate freely, it will be more likely to hum. To reduce noise, make sure the ballast is securely mounted to a solid surface. You can also use vibration dampening materials to isolate the ballast from the surrounding structure. For example, you can place rubber pads between the ballast and the mounting surface. You may also want to consider the acoustic environment of the space where the ballast is installed. If the space is very quiet, even a small amount of ballast humming can be noticeable. In noisy environments, the humming may be masked by other sounds. If you are concerned about ballast humming in a quiet space, you may want to consider using a ballast that is specifically designed for low noise operation. These ballasts often have features such as active noise cancellation. In addition to the physical characteristics of the ballast and its installation, the electrical environment can also affect its noise level. As mentioned earlier, voltage fluctuations, ground loops, and harmonic distortion can all contribute to ballast humming. To minimize these effects, make sure the electrical system is properly grounded and that there are no voltage fluctuations or harmonic distortion. You may also want to consider using a line filter to reduce noise on the power line. Furthermore, be aware of the potential for electromagnetic interference. Electromagnetic interference from other devices can also cause ballast to hum. To minimize electromagnetic interference, keep ballast away from other electrical devices and use shielded cables. If you suspect that electromagnetic interference is the cause of the humming, you can try using a ferrite core to filter the interference. Finally, remember that some amount of ballast humming is normal. All ballasts produce some amount of noise, but the level of noise can vary depending on the factors discussed above. If the humming is not excessive and the ballast is functioning properly, there is usually no need to worry. However, if the humming is excessive or accompanied by other problems, such as overheating or flickering lights, it is important to investigate the cause and take corrective action. The electrical characteristics of the building can also impact ballast performance. In older buildings, the wiring may be outdated or not up to current standards, leading to voltage drops or other issues that can cause humming. Similarly, in buildings with a lot of electronic equipment, there may be higher levels of harmonic distortion, which can also contribute to ballast noise. If you suspect that the building's electrical system is contributing to the problem, it's a good idea to have it inspected by a qualified electrician. They can identify any issues and recommend solutions, such as upgrading the wiring or installing harmonic filters. Additionally, consider the proximity of other electrical equipment. Ballasts can be sensitive to electromagnetic interference from other devices, such as motors, transformers, and electronic equipment. If possible, try to keep ballasts away from these sources of interference. You can also use shielded cables and enclosures to help reduce interference. The ambient temperature can also affect ballast noise. Ballasts tend to run hotter in warmer environments, which can increase the amount of humming they produce. If possible, try to keep the ballast in a cool, well-ventilated area. You can also use a fan to help circulate air around the ballast. In some cases, the humming may be caused by a loose component inside the ballast. If you are comfortable working with electrical equipment, you can try opening the ballast and inspecting the components for any signs of damage or looseness. However, be very careful when working with electrical equipment, as there is a risk of electric shock. If you are not comfortable working with electrical equipment, it's best to leave the repair to a qualified electrician. Another factor to consider is the type of lamp being used with the ballast. Some lamps are more prone to causing ballast humming than others. If you are experiencing humming, try replacing the lamp with a different type or brand. You may also want to check the lamp socket to make sure it is clean and making good contact with the lamp. A loose or dirty lamp socket can cause arcing, which can lead to humming. In addition to the above, consider the age of the ballast. Over time, the components inside a ballast can degrade, which can lead to increased noise. If the ballast is several years old, it may be time to replace it with a new one. When replacing a ballast, be sure to choose a ballast that is compatible with the lamp and the electrical system. You should also follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully when installing the new ballast. If you are not sure how to replace a ballast, it's best to hire a qualified electrician. They can safely and properly install the new ballast and ensure that it is working correctly. Sometimes the humming is not actually coming from the ballast itself, but from the fixture that the ballast is mounted in. If the fixture is loose or vibrating, it can amplify the sound of the ballast. To reduce noise, try tightening the fixture or adding vibration dampening materials between the fixture and the mounting surface. You can also try using a different type of fixture. Some fixtures are designed to be quieter than others. Finally, remember that some amount of ballast humming is normal and acceptable. If the humming is not excessive and the ballast is functioning properly, there is usually no need to worry. However, if the humming is excessive or accompanied by other problems, it's important to investigate the cause and take corrective action to ensure the safety and longevity of the lighting system. Always consult with a qualified electrician if you're unsure about any aspect of electrical work.